Hello, everyone. Good morning to those attending from the US. A good afternoon to the people who are attending from the EU, and good evening to all from the Far East. A few housekeeping rules before we start off with this webinar on SigmaPlot version 16 to understand the new features as well as to go over some of the old features which are there in SigmaPlot as well. This particular webinar will be recorded, and we will be uploading it onto our YouTube channel and it would be available on LinkedIn as well as on our website. If you've got any queries during the course of this webinar, please type it into the Q&A box, and we will answer it at the end of the webinar. And if you've got any sales queries as well, you can put them into the box, and we will respond to you via email. So please ensure that you do share your email addresses along with it. Thanks once again. Mohammed, over to you.
Hey, good morning, good evening, wherever you folks are. My name is Mohammed Yunus, working with SigmaPlot for quite long. So what we're talking about here for SigmaPlot 16, the topic is for the new feature, but we'll go through a few things in addition. So you can see right now my screen, and it has SigmaPlot main screen, usual. It's a home tab. You can see this is active home tab. But sometime you open, if you double click on the icon, you should get kind of this quick start, so-called quick start screen. And this would be the screen usually would get it where you have the files, existing files you were working before. You can open them up from here or click this radio button and then go from there. The other thing is that the nice thing about the create graph option, so it gives you a kind of idea of the different graph and their data format, how the preview, the data should look like. For example, the basic, you have the simple scatter plot, and this is the picture of the scatter plot. And this could be the data format. You could use it if it is the data format for XY pair. You could have also a single X. Single X would look like that, or single Y. So different data formats you can go through. If you have multiple scatter, then you would have data like this, which you would have many X, many Y. The data should look like this, XY pairs. So X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So that's how you can go into the quick start screen and go to the various type of graphs, picking up even different tabs. And the buttons over here on the top, for example, go to bar chart, and similar, you can go to simple bar, and it gives the data preview and the data format, type of the data. How would you go about creating the graph? Or if you want to create the graph like this, then what kind of data format you would need. So that's a pretty handy feature. I'm going to close it. If you would have any question about it, I'll let you know later. But if you we can explore everything about this quick start screen. So I'm going to cancel it right now. Now on the main screen, you can see on the left side is the notebook manager, where you have all kind of your data organizer, where you have the notebook, whatever that's a basic notebook. We call it in SigmaPlot when we open a notebook. That's what we call. And for example, if I go to this main button and if I click new and create a new notebook, and that's how it would look like. You can see the worksheet opens up, and it is the section. The notebook has a section has the data, and everything after the data is the child object of the data. So everything after that would be associated, for example, graph or the report or any other thing, the macro transform. If I go to right click on the section, I can click on news and see worksheet, graph, page, report, equation. So these are all the child object of the data. and the data is the child object of section. And you could have multiple sections also. If I click on notebook, and then you can click on here, so you can go to, if I open another worksheet, for example, then it will open in its own section. You can see over here, section 2. So let's close that. Actually, I don't need this item. I can go and delete it. So I just keep on open, for example, this one, section 1 right now. Simply entering the data is very simple. You can use the keyboard. If I can start entering the data here. So start from the cell, first cell, and it goes down. If I click on entering 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, for example, so that's the data. I can select the second column, and then I can go multiple data sets. So that's how you can go and keep on entering the data. The titles are in the gray area on the top. These are the title. You can see the mouse changes upside down with the big blobs inside. Excuse me. So if I double click on it, I can enter the column. For example, I call it X or capitalize X. So, and then the same thing I can do, double click on column 2, I can call it Y here or capital Y. So that's how you can keep on entering the columns by double clicking when you place your mouse over here. We can go into the worksheet, and also we can go to the titles here. And that's how you can, put the title. You can do it from here as well. Here you can see under worksheet titles. There's another interesting thing you can do. For example, you have another thing. In the first row, if you suppose you have something, a title, my title, for example, you have, and then you can, if you want to move this title to the actual title position, you can click on title and then select and then click promote. So you should promoting that it will go to the title area where the title should reside, and you can close it. It's just a very tiny itty bitty thing you will go through when you will go with the worksheet, graph, and various etc. thing. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, this is very simple. I went through. We'll come back again here with a notebook. I can show you how to even import the data. If you have an existing data, a text file, or a different various file formats, we can import into SigmaPlot. The main thing here, if I click on help, then this is the important information you can find under about SigmaPlot. It tells you exactly the version number of SigmaPlot. This is very important for us when the people trying to contact technical support. We expect them to provide us the version number and the build number of the product. That's how we can go through easily. And you can see here's my name here, and then the registration number, which is actually the serial number that you can also show here. And then, so these are the important information which we expect. I can close it. So it's about SigmaPlot. The other important thing is the license status. If I select the license, so it tells me this license type. I have it installed as perpetual. It never expires. This is my license manager here. Okay, the way you can install the license, there are two ways to install the license. One is the product key. And product key is the alphanumeric product key, which is about 20 or 22, 24 character long product key. And you can put it in here. And then once you have, for example, something like that, you can see the apply license is highlighted. I'm going to delete it right now. So you need to press apply license. The main important thing for the product key is that your machine has to be connected with the internet. So it needs to talk to our servers. And the product key doesn't work unless if it is connected to to the internet, and it should be able to talk to our servers, and then you can apply the license. That's the prerequisite about the product key. Once you click apply license, you should see the license information over here, and that's your machine name. The other important thing is the V2C file. That's what we offer offline. The people, they may not have connected, or their system may not allow them to connect to the internet. Sometimes the servers or the lab machines, they're not connecting to the internet. In that case, they would get an offline V2C file. But for the V2C file, in some areas, depending upon where you are and where the sales contract are, you may need to provide another piece of information to get a V2C file, which is called the machine signature. And if I click on license information tab, this is your machine signature. You just have to save this file. It's a save as C2E file. If you just save it, then you can save it anywhere. For example, you can call it, this is the save. It will pick up the serial number and put this. Just have to save it and attach this machine signature and send it out to the salespeople in Europe, Deepu, and here in the USA, Jonathan, or whoever is a salesperson you have. And you need to send it out, and in return, you will get the C2B file. So V2C. So you send it out the C2B file, and then in return you will get a V2C file. And this is a very interesting convention. C2V means customer to vendor. C2V, customer to vendor. And over here, V2C is the vendor to customer. So vendor to customer is the actual file you needed to install the license. So once you have this radio button selected, you can browse, and the file which you may have received through the email, you can save it. You don't have to open it. It's just a whole bunch of alphanumeric garbage, binary garbage, which you may not comprehend. It's only SigmaPlot understands. So you need to get it. And once you get that file, you can save it on your desktop somewhere and just browse, select, and apply the license. And that's how the license gets installed. So these are the two ways of installing the license. Edge to edge is the license transfer. We're not talking about it right now. So I thought I should bring it up about the licensing. The people are quite sometimes confused about it. And there's another tab, updates. By default, SigmaPlot checks the updates when you open the SigmaPlot. And this is the box, always check patch update on application startup. If you have this checked, then it will always check if there is an update or patch available. If there is one, it will prompt you the patch, and you can download and install it. And you have to have the admin. You have to have the admin rights in order to install a patch or application. In order to run the application, you don't need the admin rights. It's better to run it once with admin rights. Whoever installs it, if you have an organization, university, or whoever your system admin, they can install and run it once, and then that's it. And then you can run it without admin rights. So that is the usual way of running SigmaPlot. Okay. Now let's move on to some other things, and under health, the important things. I should go maybe. Somebody go, let me admit it. So much. Okay. You can see the help again, and it is very important tab. You can see here the help contents. If I click on it, it gives you the contents, the welcome to SigmaPlot, and you have the contents in the search bar. And here you have various topics. You can go through, and then you can search it, or you can just enter under the search field, you can type something. For example, I just have it contour. And if I list the topics, then it will provide you for modifying the contour plot, and all kind of help is available over here. So that is very important. SigmaPlot user guide, again, it's available over here. contents, SigmaPlot automation help. This is another, we briefly touch upon it, but this is for the people, they're advanced users. There's an important thing about the tutorial. We have a tutorial also. You can select it, and there's a very tiny button you can see because my screen is kind of, the small fonts on it, but you can select this plus radio button, and over here you can have the lessons, create a graph, and then it walks you through step by step. There are only 6 lessons. It's very good to go through with those lessons to learn about some basics about SigmaPlot, how to create the graphs. There's another thing we have, tip of the day. It gives you the usual tips. You can show at the startup. You can check this box if you want to. It will give you one tip every time when you open the SigmaPlot. So these are the other guides you have. This is in the PDF format, the user guides in the PDF format. You can see that I just clicked on it and it opened up. So this is the usual, the guide, PDF guide, statistics guide, and then transforms and regression guide. So these are in the PDF form. Now the others, we have sample files for everything what we do in SigmaPlot. So the graphics, all kind of graphics, statistics, transforms, nonlinear regression, macro data. So this is very handy if you need to learn for a specific, for example, we're doing if you look at for example, if I go and open it up and here it opens up. So my other notebook goes down. You can see this notebook 1 is now here, but this has multiple sections, a sample.snb file, GNB file. If I select this first one and if I open the graph, double click, so this is the graph, scatter bars with scatter plot with error bars and fitted curves. And if you can see this picture, how does it work and what type of data it is using. So you can go to click on data, and that's what the data it's using. We'll go through with this data, and I'll show you a few things in what's new when we'll talk about what's new. So this is very handy, very this all sample files, all kind of graphs which we do in SigmaPlot, or most of the trial. This is the picture, by the way, we pasted over it. So you can also paste a picture or a logo or something, whatever you have. So various type of graphs are there. We'll come back to it. And I can close this also, close this notebook. It will also always ask me if I want to make some changes. I don't want to make any changes for that. Now, the next important sample file is the statistics. SigmaPlot has an extensive tool set to run various statistics tests. And those tests you can find under analysis. You can see these tests, okay, you can click on here. This is in the group area as they are grouped. Or if you want to find individual tests, you can go from here and then you can see, scroll up and down, you can see all kind of tests, descriptive statistics, one-way frequency table, sample 1, sample t-test, some t-test, rank sum test, ANOVA, one-way, two-way, three-way, ANOVA on ranks, and COA, t-test, pair t-test. All kind of tests you can find in here, and then we'll talk about it in a bit. So let's go back to again home tab again. Sorry, the help, and then there's a nonlinear regression, and then macro data set. We'll go through that in a second as well. Then on the web, you have over here on these 3 tabs, you can find the web information, home page, the technical support page, and the home page. And we already went through the licensing stuff. Okay, so let me touch upon a little bit over our just creating a graph, a simple graph. For example, I went over here in the home tab, the worksheet over here. You have it worksheet, and usually you always start with the with the Home tab. Here you can also export the data. You can also import. We can click on here. So you can go file import. We talked about a little bit earlier that, okay, if you have the data somewhere and you want to import the data, you can select, and then this Sigma main radio button, Sigma button, and then file, you select file import and file import here. And here, different files of type, you can see the various whole heap of file of types. You can import Excel file, plain text, comma, delimited, MS Access, SPSS, old SigmaPlot files, Exxon, binary, Symphony, Systat, blah, blah, blah. So, Minitab, all kind of file of type. You can import it in here. And if you have the file over here, then I could have click open and it should have imported in here. So that's how you can go and import the data. I may have to do it later. I'll show you maybe the text data, how to import it in here. So let me close this one as well for right now. And I was going to show you a very simple graph. Oh, by the way, if you double click on it and just press the delete button, then this title will go away. That's another way of working with or editing the title. I can click on create graph. So create graph, I can click on scatter, or I can go through the, if I want to create a scatter plot, bar chart, for example. Let's do a bar chart enough. If I select the bar, and since my data type is XY pair, I can select the XY and click next. And then I can select the data from this small, tiny, there's a arrow here, tiny arrow. If I select it, then I can click on X and then go back again and then select Y. This is how you can select it. For example, you have selected the wrong column. You can double click on it to deselect it. Here's a double clicking, deselecting it, double clicking, deselecting it. There is another way. I already showed you. If you move your mouse over here, then if you click on it to see that this column is selected. Same thing you can do over here and select it. You can also drag the mouse to selected multiple columns if you have the such data format you're working with. For example, multiple scatter plots. In that case, you can select by dragging the mouse. If I click finish, and here's the bar chart. Of course, you can see that 3 and 4 location, I don't have anything. So that's why it's empty over here. So you see the X value, I don't have any 3 value over here. Then interestingly, I can enter a 3 over here and enter something, 5, for example. And you can see that if see that over here, you can see the bar is added in the background at 3. So this is active or alive. It means you just work with the data, then it changes automatically. Let's say if I go 10 over here, so that's, you can see the 10 already changed to the, you can see the y-axis shows the actual value of this bar. And also you can see the mouse. If I place it over here, it tells me the coordinates of this particular bar. So this, and then you have the title. If you want to change the title, double click on it. You just start typing anything. So it can change the title. My graph or whatever you call it. And then if I select it, then it shows. You can also zoom the graph by dragging it. I mean, you can change the size and position size of the graph. Sorry. Here, if I move my mouse over here, I can drag it and then I can change the size. There is another thing I have. If I select, you can see there's a magnifying glass at the right bottom. If I select it, I can zoom in a particular area of the graph. For example, like this area, I can zoom in and I can get into more details. I can select this 85% and then go back to maybe 50%. Then it will switch back the way it was 50%. So there are various, we are exploring it. You can also, you can see the scroll bar. You can use that scroll bar also to zoom in and out. So let's close this. Oh, by the way, this is another thing, interesting thing, because the SigmaPlots start with a kind of very basic blank graph, but you can make it very nice if you double click on it. If I go to, it will open up the graph properties. And if I click on fills, and then you can change the color, fill color. For example, I want to use the color scheme, and then I want to use something, heavenly, for example. You see that heavenly color comes up. So you can also go to the scaling if you need to change the scale. Here's the Y data. By default, select X data. You want to change the scaling, and the various type of scales that are given. You can have a log common, log natural, probability, probit, all kind of scales are there. You can change it for the axis. You can by selecting the particular axis. Major, minor labels. So these are the labels you have. You can double click on a particular, for example, you see that if I double click on the label, then it opens up it highlights the tick labels, and you can go through with that. You can rotate it also. You can go to the tick labels, and I can go paragraph, and I want to rotate it, for example, 30 degrees. And then I click OK, and then see that the labels are rotated here. Sometimes you need to rotate it. For example, if they have you have tick labels, they're pretty long, they're running into each other, then you can rotate them so they can show sideways and they don't run into each other. That's another way of arranging the labels. I can go and do it here. See the button over here on the top. I see if you usually you put your mouse, then it shows you the tooltip, and here's the undo graph, and then you can see that it back to the way it was. So let's close this, and I will go quickly again here under the help, and I want to show you some of the graphs. Some of the nice graphs SigmaPlot is doing or have already did for you. There are various type of, for example, polar plot. This is a very nice polar plot. You can see here. Mesh and contour plots. The people are looking forward to these mesh and contour. This is a pretty big data sheet. And if I go to color, this is a color contour graph and mesh plot. This is the mesh plot. That's an interesting graph, bird population timeline. So it's very interesting. It's the 4000 BC. That was the population, and it's a log millions. So, and then you can see that it's going up and up as it's a 2080. So there are various interesting graphs you can see over here. California map. You can see the California map. You can do the map also if you have the coordinates. So there is so if you have the borderline coordinates, the lakes and the city names and everything you have over here. So this is the data sheet. You can see that the name of the city or county. So they see Bakersfield, Fresno, Los Angeles. So so these are all, sorry, let me go back again here. So you see the Los Angeles here, and we are somewhere here, Santa Clara, San Jose area. This is the Bay. This is the capital of California, Sacramento. Okay, maybe enough. We have so a lot of things are here. You can see the radar plots. Yeah, this is very nice graph. Radar plot, and you can see the transparency in it. Line. This is another radar line and error band plot. So SigmaPlot can do very nice plots, graphs for you. And as I told you that you start from scratch and start building it, you can change the color, modify it color, and a lot of things you can do. And everything can be done in the graph properties. It will click on the graph, so it shows you for a particular graph, so axes, plots, data, symbols. So this is a whole jewel case of graph properties. Everything you can do, customize the graph from here. So if I move my mouse away from it, then it can see the transparent, so you can see through, and then you can look at the graph, you can bring it back to the mouse again. So that's how it becomes non-transparent. Okay, so these are the various graphs in SigmaPlot, and I'll go and I can keep on closing like this, or I can right click on it and just close notebook. It may ask me to make any changes. I'll say no, then this graph, this is gone. So this is, by the way, this was the graphs. Again, under help, graphs. That's the one we just opened it up. Okay, statistics, various statistics, descriptive statistics, one-way ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, all kind of statistics you can do. And the data format is provided. For example, you have the unpaired t-test. So t-test here. So you have two groups, male and female, the same group. It's a different format. This is the size, mean, and standard deviation of the same two groups. The first row and the second row represent the first and second column with the statistics. And this is another format, which is called index format, which we would have it. If you, so there are some softwares, they only have the index format, and some have the raw data like this, but SigmaPlot accommodates all kind of data. In order to run it, you can go to analysis, and then if I click on here, and I can scroll up and the t-test, select it, and just click run. And it opens up the dialog, the data format, and it asks you the format of the data, what type of data format you have. You have the raw data, the one which we have selected is the raw data. Index data is the last two columns, is the index data. And then the middle one is the mean size standard deviation. This is what we have right now here in the middle. So either one, we can pick it up and go through with that. For example, let's go with the raw data next. This raw data is already selected because we already highlighted it. So it is already selected in here. I can deselect and then select back again by just dragging my mouse, as I told you that. So I drag the mouse from the titles, and that's the two columns are selected. So I want to make sure I have selected that we only require two columns, because this is what you're comparing you're comparing the two groups. This is what you do in t-test. Click finish. And the beauty of SigmaPlot is that it actually it does a lot of things in the background. For example, it did the normality test in the background, Shapiro-Wilk test. It was passed, and it was a equal variance test, Brown-Forsyth test, that's also passed. And then there's the common statistics, which is the number of data in the group. If there is a missing mean, standard deviation, standard of the means, same thing for the female. And if you scroll down, you can find it. It gives you the various statistics. By the way, on the top right, you see the timestamp also here when you ran this test. And then equal variance test. This is the student t-test. It's giving the two type of first t-test. One is the student t-test. This is the t-value, degrees and freedom. and two-tailed p-value also. And then also it gives you the, in writing, that there is no significant difference between these groups. So it gives you the conclusion in writing. It tells you what actually happened, and it tells you in plain English. Equal variance test, the way it's a Welch test, a little different t-value because it's a different statistics, but it's actually basic statistics, but different formula, student and Welch t-test. Same thing, the two-tailed p-value, and then the conclusion should be the same. There is no statistically difference between the input groups because the p-value is 0.007. So what we saw that it did automatically the normality in the background, and this is very important in order to work with statistics. It follows some assumptions, and if the assumptions are violated, then the statistics could be inconclusive. It may not give you the appropriate answers, or that the answers are not desirable. And so the main thing is about the normality, is that it actually gave you the parametric way of providing. Let's say if the normality was not passed, then what would happen? For example, let's say here, if I'm opening this data set, is similar data in the two groups. We can go and compare it, and we can also do the index data. But let's see if you run it and see what happens if I go run this raw data. So you see that what happened over here, normality failed. Do you want to run Mann-Whitney rank sum test? So SigmaPlot is walking you through and holding your hand and actually telling you, because the normality was failed, so you should rather run a Mann-Whitney rank sum test, a rank sum test, as compared to a parametric test, which we ran it before. So it actually minimizes your doing any mistakes so it knows that the normality is failed, so it may violate the assumptions for the test, parametric test. So you should run rather a rank sum test or a non-parametric test. And if I click or say yes, then it will produce the report. And you can see that normality failed over here. And that's why this is a reliable statistics. It's giving you the t-value, and then the estimated p-value, p-exact value. This is also, it will give you, but this is a different statistics of Mann-Whitney rank sum test. That usually in case when you need to run the normality, sometimes other statistics packages, you need to know in advance. So very first thing, what you need to do, you will run the normality on the test, and then find out if it is following the normal distribution, or the data is drawn from the normal population, or the sample is drawn from the normal population. Then you can run. Then after that, you can decide which test you want to run. Either you want to go with the regular parametric test or non-parametric test. So it is you are deciding. Here, SigmaPlot is holding your hand and telling you what to do should you run into these kind of situation. Okay, one interesting thing I want to show you also here. Let's say you don't even have an idea what to do, how to start. Okay, well, we have another thing, we call it advisor. If you select the advisor, it will ask you a few questions, simple questions. For example, describe your data with basic statistics, or summarize your data in categories. Number 2, compare groups or treatments for significant differences. Number 3, predict trend, find correlation or fit a curve, determine the sample size for experimental design. So various type of questions you would have it. Okay, you probably would have noticed the test we ran it, we actually compared the groups or treatment for significant differences. This is most of the time people do that. If I select this, go to next. Okay, the next question will be, how is your data measured? Is it the numeric values, the numbers, meters, degrees, whatever, or you have the ranks, excellent, good, poor, or proportion numbers, male versus female, survival time. So we had the numbers. These are all the numbers we're working with. Select that. Okay, do you apply more than one treatment? No, just one treatment. Okay, how many groups or treatments are there? We have 2 groups. So let's say we can select 2 over here and finish. See that what it does say? We suggest that you should use t-test. So very simple. It's a whole bunch of dialogues you can go through, and finally you can run the test over here. If I select run it, then it will bring up the dialogue and it will go and then run the t-test dialogue. If I have the data already selected or something, so then I can proceed with it. So very interesting. For example, let's go back again, advisor. I want to go compare groups of treatment, significant differences. Next, I have the numeric values. Next, do you apply more than, let's say, no. Okay, how about 3 or more? How many groups or treatments are there? If I have 3 or more, then what should I do? Finish. It tells you should run one-way ANOVA. And we can run it. I can show you quickly here. This is that we have the data for that. Let me close this one. I mean, keep it open, doesn't really matter, but I need to know which data which is, so I can go open one-way ANOVA. This is my one-way ANOVA data. You can see over here, these are the 3 groups, species A, B, and C, and then this is the corresponding size, means, standard of the means, and this is the index format of the data. And I can select from here and then go to one-way ANOVA and then click run. And let's say this time, let's say we'll pick up the index data. Next, index data is the group, which is the column 7. And then data, corresponding data is density, which is column 8. And I can go and finish. And now, see, there's another interesting thing happened over here. So it did already a few things in the background. It already ran the assumption checking. So it actually found that data is normal. So this is a good way to go by. There is, you can go and run on parametric, regular parametric, ANOVA. But then you see there are 3 groups, right? A, B, and C. But so then finally, there is a significant difference, and you can find a main significant difference. But where is the difference? Is it between the A and B? Is the differences between the species A and B, or species B and C, or species A and C? So for that, you need to run multiple comparison, and these are the different tests it is suggesting to run any of those. The Holmes-Sidak Tukey test, Student-Newman-Coles test, Bonferroni, Fisher LSD. Usually people sometimes go with the Bonferroni. If I click on it, finish, and then it gives you a complete ANOVA table. So you see that it ran the normality in the background for you automatically. Then this is the common the statistics we have for number of, which we already did, the size of each column, missing values, mean, so on and so forth. This is the main ANOVA table where it found there is significant difference. See, there is a significant difference. So from here, you still have to run a post hoc test, which it actually ran it for you, which is called Bonferroni multiple comparison test, and it actually found there is a significant difference between B and C, yes, B and A, yes, and there is no significant difference between A and C. So SigmaPlot is the workflow is such that it is holding your hand and go through various tests, which you would have to run it separately in SAS software, or even in Prism, you still have to run those tests separately. You need to go through different tabs and run it separately. And you need to know in advance a few things. So SigmaPlot is very good about it. Excuse me. So here you can see that it's quite helpful, SigmaPlot, when you're running the statistics. Okay, now let's talk about the actual topic, what's new in SigmaPlot 16. So we have introduced some of the new type of graph through the macro modules. And I can show you if I go to the macro, help again, and the macro data. This is what I wanted to show you. So the butterfly plot, this is data from UK Census 2021. So I want to do the butterfly plot because butterfly has a two wing, left and right wing, and I want to show these two wings. And for that, I can click on either I can go to the macros, or I can go to the tools. I can pick up the macros from macros, and from the list, I can find the butterfly plot here. I can run it, or I can go to the tools, and then over here, you can see the butterfly plot. I select it, and then it already, so you start from the first column, and the first group you have count other, and then count any other. This was the two categories that was noted in the census 2021 from UK. And if you have the label columns, so it's already selected. And then you can have the first empty. You want to rotate the x-axis, tick labels or you want to find the color scheme. For example, I'll do the earth tone. Click OK. And here's the butterfly plot. So let me make it a little bigger to show you. So these are the labels, and it actually did it for you. So a lot of things, if you are doing it manually, it's long, extensive work to make it working like that. You can see the labels. They are on the left side from the 0, but they have all the positive sign. That's how the butterfly is. That it means to show you the size of these bars, and so that's how it automatically adjusts everything for you and create that, and that's what the butterfly plot. People asked for it, and we introduced in version 16. And there are other data sets we have provided. This is another data set. You can do the same thing over here. There's sometimes the data may not have the label. You can also do that. For example, let's do this one. I can select it, and then there is no label column. If I click OK, then it says select no for the Y label radio button with the two groups. So yeah, that's fine. I should say no. And results column, I can start with 3 here. I can go the royalty and then select the black edges and click OK. And here we go. Let's make it larger. 100% is better. So you can see that another butterfly plot. Now let's move on to the violin plot. This is another plot we introduced in here, violin plot. This is the sample data for the violin plot, 3 groups, and I can select over here. You can see the violin plot. I select it. You can always start from the first column. This is what recommended. By the way, there's a help also in here, which can, explain it to you. Same thing you could find under the butterfly plot as well. So number of columns are 3, and the results will go into the first empty. Then you can adjust the height of the width of the graph if you need to, the violin gap, if you need to, fill color, if it is the fill color is white or black edges. For example, let's say keep it default, click OK, and here's the violin plot. So it actually shows you the density of the data at the various locations. So this is where the more denser data you have, where the wider is, and this is the less denser area if you go up and down. So that's how it shows you violin plot and various density at the various location within the column. Let's do it again. I want to show you that this time it's already have 14 column because the results are there. It has to have the data. This is what the calculation happens at each and every location, and then each and every point, and then it produces the results in the subsequent columns. But we have actual 3 columns, so we can go back to 3. And let's say this time we can go with a different gray color. And then if we want to add the box plot, for example, let's make it dark gray and then add the box plot and then click OK, see what happens here. Here we go. So you have added the box plot just by clicking on it. And here's the fill color is the dark gray. Let's make it larger. I can do like this as well. Instead of going through this button, you can use the magnifying glass and drag it around, and that's how you can see the enlarge it. So this is another thing which we introduced in SigmaPlot 16. Now I wanted to show you another thing which we'll do by manually, and I can close that. For example, I can go to the help again and go to the graphs, and I will go and with a scatter plot here, data. Okay, let me pick up this data. And I want to copy and I want to go into new notebook. I just wanted to show you also another way, and Control V, and that's how I paste it. And I can see the all data up to here. It's pasted in here into the new worksheet. Okay, so let's do the go to create graph and go to scatter, and we can select this one, which is a simple line and scatter plot. So I have the error values. I'm coming from the worksheet column. Either you can have, you see the asymmetric error bar, the various type of symbol values you can pick it from. If it is asymmetric error bars or column means, row means, all sort of data format is provided. So this time we have the worksheet columns because we have the error values are coming from here, from the worksheet column, which is corresponding to the scatter values here. So if I go to next and XY pair, that's fine. And I want to select the first column, X, Y, and then error column. I'll go finish it up. So this is my error bars. You can see over here. Okay, so the new thing introduced, if I double click on this graph and I go to the area fills, I can go from the direction down. You can see the direction down, and then I select the band. So you can see this is band is created across these errors, and that's what we have introduced. It was not before, we did not have it. So the way you can do that, you can create your chart, scatter and error bars if you have the error bars and you want to create the bands around the error. So that's how you can go to the area bands, and then here you can select the band over here by direction, and that's it. And you can change the color if you want to. See the fill color, I want to go with the something else, pink, dark pink. I don't know, some people may like it, or dark cyan color. Different colors are provided. You can pick it up. As I told you that you can go under the graph property, you can do wonders with it. So this is another thing which we have introduced. Now, I wanted to show you I think I did not show you how to do the, we have just a few minutes left. Let me go open a new worksheet. And I wanted to show you how to import the file. And I think I have to go through all the way to the SigmaPlot main folder. C program files, x86 SigmaPlot 16. Well, you probably would have noticed that it's a 15, 14, all. I have all kind of, versions here. So this is another thing, the SigmaPlot, you can keep as many versions you want to, you can have it installed, but you can run one version at a time. So that's how they are specific in the going to specific directories. I go to samples, and then if I can, maybe I can go to the text. Here we go, contour text. This is a text file I wanted to import. Open. So it opens up a dialog. I just have to click import. That's it. You can see the data is imported. And quickly, we can do create graph, and I wanted to show you. Actually, I'll go ahead and put it. Contour, and this is a color contour, fill contour, XYZ triplet data I have. Next, I can select, drag across, and finish. And this is a very nice graph. Did you see that? Alternately, I can create a mesh plot as well. I can go where's my mesh plot? Here's the mesh plot. XYZ triplet, already data is selected, finish. So this is the mesh plot. So you see the depths, and these are the tops, heights. So that's why it shows you in the blue area, which it shows you back again here in the when we created the contour. So these are the depths, and these are the tops or the heights. So nice graph. So we are almost done with almost everything which we have tried to find out. If you have any questions.
Yeah, Mohammed, there are quite a few questions. If you can.
Let's see if I can answer. Hold on, let me.
The first one,
if it is possible. Yeah, go ahead. Read it.
The first one is if you can show them the heat map.
Yes, heat map. Heat map we introduced in the earlier version, but I can show you right now the heat map. Here's the heat map data we have. Heat map. 3 colors. With various color data you have over here. And I can go click again. I need to move this away from me. And I can go to tools, and there's the heat map. Select heat map. The column title is the first column I have. And the row labels. Yeah, this is also column 2 is the lower row labels. My row labels, and the column 3 to column 5 is my actual column. Column 3 is my first data column, and column 5 is my last data column. And then if I want to have the color column also, this is a color scheme. I can pick it up 6. I can select over here, but let's leave it the default scheme for now. Select and click OK. And here's the heat map. Nice, isn't it? Let's do quickly another one.
No, Mohammed, because we've got quite a few questions to go over.
Okay, so can we answer them in the email if it is okay?
A few of them, if you can do now, and the rest we can try.
Okay, okay.
So one more is Sigma. In earlier SigmaPlot versions, it was very easy to add the extra Y or the x-axis simply by clicking Add Axis.
Yeah, we do the add axis also, same thing. We have an add axis. You can see that over here. I think we had yeah. Ah, very nice. We already have the data, so why not we can do it so quickly? So for that, you need to have, for add axis, you can do on multiple plots. You have to have an added plot. Otherwise, you won't be able to do so. I can show you what I mean here. If I can go create graph real quick, for example, I can go a line plot here, XY pair. This is my X, this is my scatter Y, and finish. All right. So this is my first plot. Then I can go to the graph page. Let me move this a little bit down. I need to drag it somewhere, hold it, and then yes. You see the add plot here under the graph page tab, you have the add plot. If I click on it, I can pick up, for example, let's say, whatever. I don't know whether it will look nice graph or not, but let's do that. Vertical bar chart next, and simple bar next, and this time XY pair next, and this time I have this and let's say this one. Finish. Okay, it's not a nice one, but just to show you right now over here. The reason was that because it is the data is very sparse. That's why it doesn't show very nicely. But that's not the main point. The main point is I wanted to add the axes. Add the axes. So you can see the add axis is highlighted. It was not before. Excuse me. Add axis, and then you can select the second plot and y-axis, and to the right side, finish. And here it is, axis added is for the second plot.
Great. And one more question.
Sorry for that.
No worries at all. For some purposes, it is useful to create bar charts with the individual data included. Is this possible as it is not available as an option to choose in combination of bars with individual dots?
Okay, individual dots you're talking about, bar on the top of the dots. Okay, you know what? We have a planning to do. I can show you a similar one, which is very close. You need to tweak a few things, but it's kind of we have a macro. Yes, hold on a second. Let me find. Yeah, here dot density data. I just wanted to show you dot density over here. Okay, go to the tools and then you see the dot density overlay, select it. And over here, the first and four, all four columns are there, column 1 to column 4. And if I select this mean standard deviation, standard error, mean the last one, click OK. That's the one.
Cool.
It's pretty close, but it is not exact. It is actually doing an algorithm in the both direction, in the X and Y direction. So the Y data is not the actual data. So for that, we are thinking to introduce something new in version 17.
17.
Yeah.
One more question. How would I go about adding data that has, for instance, multiple Y values for one X value?
Multiple Y values for one X value. Adding the data. No, that option is not available right now. I know what you're talking about. You're comparing. Yeah, you have multiple bar charts or maybe the results graph for example, for a two-way ANOVA, you have the results, and then you want to do the bar charts for each label. Yeah, that is in Prism, but we don't have it.
One of our customers is unable to copy graphs from SigmaPlot into PowerPoint. The graphs are empty.
Let's do that.
Has this been corrected, he asks?
let's see if it is working. Why not? Let's see that. If I have it, I can go open a PowerPoint. I can pull up a PowerPoint slide. I should have an empty one. Let me change to the slide to the blank one, right? Okay. So this slide is open. I have this graph, right? Select this graph, and I can go to the. Let's see. Do I have paste to the PowerPoint? Do you see that? Tools. I select it. Okay, then I can go, okay, text bold or whatever. Just click OK. It did. Flash
Cool.
of a button.
It is empty.
You want me to repeat it
sent.
again? Repeat it
If you
again?
can, once more.
Okay, so
Um,
I have an,
I'm going
I
to
have
redirect this. I'm going to redirect one of our customers to you, Mohammed.
Mhm. Okay, so I'm going to add another slide here, an empty slide, a blank slide. And this is active right now. I have this graph in here. I can close this. No, I didn't want to have it open. I didn't anyway. So under the tools, I have this is in the middle of the office tools. It pays to the PowerPoint. I selected, you have to have this graph selected. Sorry, this is what I didn't do that. You need to select the graph. Sorry, select the graph. You can see all the corners here, the black and the paste to the PowerPoint. And then, you can check whatever you need to, just click OK. And here is that. This one. Did it twice, right? So there are two slides.
Yeah, perfect.
You want me to do another graph, different one?
No. We are already 10 minutes over, Mohammed.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Sorry, it took a little. We went too overboard, but
And if you've
it was
got,
necessary.
if you've got any questions regarding any technical support questions, you could write directly to saves.techsupport@graffiti.com. Any sales related questions to upgrade, you'll be able to go ahead and send it to send emails to saves.sales@graffiti.com. We will be posting a video of this on our LinkedIn page, Graffiti LLC. We will also be posting it on our website, but it would not be done immediately. It would be available on our YouTube channel. It would be available on LinkedIn.
Right. Nice.
Nice
to talk.
To all attendees who've actually attended today's webinar, we'll go ahead and send you the link to our LinkedIn and YouTube page. So you will be able to review this particular webinar.
Thank you very much for participating. And
thank you, Mohammed, for taking the time out this morning for us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.